What is up, everybody? Bill Gates from Crypto Analysis Trends, bringing you my first video in the series of crypto concepts in the real world. They're there. You just don't see them because you look at them every day. And how do you explain crypto to your family and friends? So let's get into this. So this series is going to be, I'll try to be brief as possible. Some of the topics can be sort of complex. I'm going to do my best to keep these as short as possible. So anybody that knows, I have a tendency to ramble on in the real world and voice channel when I type in any of the Telegram channels. So without further ado, let's get into this. And I'm going to prove that Chuck E. Cheese is just like crypto, and crypto is just like Chuck E. Cheese. And you're going to say, no way. And I'm going to say, yes way. And I even have a picture here to prove it. Look, Chuck E. Cheese has a Bitcoin. Oops, nope, that's not a Bitcoin. That is a Chuck E. Cheese token. You're asking, why is he talking about Chuck E. Cheese and crypto? Easy, because everybody knows what Chuck E. Cheese is if you've ever been to North America. So if we have anybody here that isn't familiar with Chuck E. Cheese, I will briefly describe it. It is a pizza chain that has terrible pizza. I'm sorry, Chuck E. Cheese. That has an arcade in it and animatronic robots that sing songs, and cartoons routinely make fun of the whole production. But without further ado, let's keep going in on this. So, Chuck E. Cheese. How is Chuck E. Cheese like crypto? Well, technically, Chuck E. Cheese has a seigniorage project within Chuck E. Cheese, and we've talked about seigniorage before. It's basically whenever somebody creates a currency, it's really the difference in value from whatever it takes to produce it to whatever that product can create. And so I'm just going to briefly kind of go over this as quickly as possible. So Chuck E. Cheese, if you go into Chuck E. Cheese and your kids or you want to play video games, I don't know why you'd go to Chuck E. Cheese to play video games, but if you did, you couldn't put in quarters. So what do you have to do? You have to go up to the counter and get Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Oh my gosh, Chuck E. Cheese tokens. Anybody familiar with crypto has been hearing tokens forever. We always used to call it currency, but the smart move was to start calling them tokens. But anyway, let's go into this. You give the person up at the counter $20. They give you $20 in Chuck E. Cheese tokens. You take those Chuck E. Cheese tokens and you put them in the machine, and when your game is over, you're rewarded with a ticket. And so when you have finally deposited all your tokens, you'll have all your tickets. You're going to be feeling terrible from the terrible pizza and the atmosphere, but you will go up to the counter, you'll go back to the counter, the same person that gave you the $20, you will give them the tickets. They will say, here is a selection of prizes that you can choose with the tickets you've won. Well, it turns out that the prize that you can now buy with those tickets, you could have bought in a store for 25 cents. So what does that mean? Well, it means Chuck E. Cheese has extracted $19.75 from you in value. You're saying, well, Bill Gates, that's not how crypto works. And I'm going to say that's exactly how crypto works. And I'm going to tell you, Chuck E. Cheese just used compounding on you. It just happens you didn't see it because you've always seen it. We just call it something else because that's what we've always been told. But it's wrong. If you attribute the money that Chuck E. Cheese took in, that $19.75 in profit, and attribute the amount of time that you were there, you could actually see if the time intervals that you chose were 5 minutes, you could attribute an interest rate to that particular unit of time, and you can see that Chuck E. Cheese actually is a tremendous compounder. Oh my gosh, who would have thought Chuck E. Cheese was a compounder? He is. He's great at it. And so you're going to ask, well, what's the difference between Chuck E. Cheese and crypto? And I'm going to tell you nothing, because Chuck E. Cheese is an open system just like crypto. And there's an economic principle called leakage that happens. And what's going to happen, so Chuck E. Cheese doesn't actually take in $19.75 in profit, because Chuck E. Cheese has overhead. Just like most blockchains, like most deflation or inflationary coins in crypto, money will leak out of that system, and that system will eventually die. In the real world, what tends to happen is costs will overwhelm profits because of leakage, money going out of the system, or capital outflows. And so it's this open system where leakage occurs in various different ways in Chuck E. Cheese. In Chuck E. Cheese, they have machine, overhead for the machines to be repaired or replaced. They have to pay for their labor, their buildings, their utilities, and various other things, where that money is then extracted from Chuck E. Cheese. And if Chuck E. Cheese isn't able to compound better on you or control the outflow of capital or the leakage, what's going to end up happening is Chuck E. Cheese's system is going to collapse, just like any crypto system that doesn't manage their capital. And so I'm going to give a big shout out to the EMP team, because they and other projects, typically Forex projects, have been able to dramatically reduce leakage and draining of the economic value of a system. And the great thing about a crypto system is we don't have all these ridiculous overheads to take care of, like machines and infrastructure and inventory and building costs. So that money can stay within the system. So as EMP emperors or empresses, we have to be cognizant of that and remember where leakage is going to occur in our system is when we sell off EMP and move that money outside of the system. So that is a point of where leakage can occur, and we need to always remember more money needs to go into the EMP than goes out, because EMP is the native token that will drive value and increase values within the system, just like within the Chuck E. Cheese example. Chuck E. Cheese, they need to do a better job of reducing leakage through various mechanisms, just like AJ and his team has done, just like Forex and his team has done. They have reduced leakage or capital outflow from their economic systems, and people are rewarded for doing that. So hopefully this has been helpful in explaining or understanding what seniorage is and how it's right there in front of you in the real world in so many cases. And I just kind of thought this was one of the most humorous ways to look at it. So hopefully this is helpful. So I'm going to do a lot more like observations about crypto and how to explain it to your family and friends. So if you have comments about something that you think is helpful, or an example you'd like me to do a video on, please share. And if you like the videos, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share, with your friends. I want to be a better YouTuber. I want to help bring crypto to everybody, because crypto can, create an endless stream of financial freedom for everybody. And so let me say one last thing. Why crypto is so great. It gives us financial freedom, but what it does is it gives us the power of being the kings and queens of our castles again. It gives us sovereignty over our finances. And, that is not just blowing smoke to, appease the people that are watching this video. It's the truth. I imagine a lot of people in the world feel disgruntled with their government because they feel disconnected from their, the ability to participate and benefit from the system wherever they're at in the world. And crypto honestly does give that back. Now, it gives it back to varying degrees, because in a lot of crypto projects, you aren't the king or the queen of your castle. The vast majority of the system is owned, and the benefits go to a few people. Now, I'm gonna throw out a lot of love to AJ and his team and Forex and his team, because everybody in that system, every participant in that system is rewarded incredibly. And I don't know if people actually understand, how an important of a principle that is. They might just see the money and say that's great, but it's actually a much bigger concept than that. It's actual ownership and belief in those projects, and that's why people love AJ and his team so much. That's why they love Forex and his team so much. So I don't want this video to be so long. So help me share this message with other people, and wherever you're at in the world, be safe. Have a great day, a great night, and let's take this journey together. And not financial advice. Make your own choices, and be a better person.